Hello everyone, this is Vladimir Miroshnichenko. When I was a teenager and Putin became a prime minister of Russia, I remember that many people really was asking, who is Mr. Putin? Right now everyone knows, I think everyone in the world knows who is Mr. Putin. But nobody knows what is his political position. Some people believe that he is a conservative right winger, some people believe that he is from the left side. Some people believe that he is very maybe Orthodox Christians, or even some people say that he is a fascist, etc. So let's try to understand it and let's just go step by step. Today we are talking if Putin is a conservative right winger. Let's answer this question. If we speak about the conservatives, normally you have two parts: the economical part, economical freedom, and the values that are traditional values. And let's start with the economical freedom. I don't know if it is so necessary to speak about the economical freedom in Russia because it's kind of everyone knows it. But anyway, I will try to shortly remind you or tell you some things. First, how much of the economy is controlled by state? Because if we speak about conservatives, they don't want the state to control a big part of the economy. It's pretty difficult to answer because sometimes it's just state companies, sometimes it's the companies which are owned by state companies, and sometimes it's private companies from friends of Putin who are completely controlled by state as well. So it's very difficult to answer. But if we try to suppose more or less, we could say that it's between 60 or 70% of the economy of Russia is controlled by state. There are some investigations about this. And another thing about the income tax, because some people say that okay, at least Russia has very low taxes, and it is important for many conservatives to not pay so much taxes. And it's marvelous to just pay 13% income tax, 13 or 15%. Sure. Well, maybe, but what is the problem? That in Russia, yeah, the income tax surely is between 13 and 15%. But to pay the salary, first you need to put it to so-called work payment foundation that is part of your company. You put it, I mean, you cannot pay any cent, any dollar to your, or any ruble to your worker without putting it first to the work payment foundation. So, when you put some money to this foundation, you have to pay the taxes from there. What does it mean? If you need to pay to your worker, for example, $70, you first need to put $100 to the work payment foundation, pay $30 as taxes, then you pay the $70 to your worker, and from this you pay 13% more, 13 or 15, it depends on your salary. So what does it mean? That finally you never pay less than 40% of the taxes in the moment when the company pays to the worker. And then you have to pay a lot of other taxes like VAT, like property tax, transport tax, etc., etc., etc. So the average Russian never or almost never pays less than 52% of his salary as taxes. And this 52%, it's like if you just live, I don't know, if you live in the forest, if you don't need to pay property tax or transport tax, then it will be 52%. But besides the taxes, there is one other thing, very important as well. Property rights. So, how are the property rights in Russia? I think that you know that in Russia there is no the real division of the power branches. Without the independent judiciary, you will not have the real property rights. Without the property rights, you will not have economical freedom. And about the judiciary, many judges are controlled by state or are controlled, I mean, by the governors, by the bureaucrats, etc. And of course, almost all of them are controlled by president because they know that if something happens, they can be fired because their colleagues will fire them. That's how it works. So finally, one bureaucrat can just take away your property, starting a false accusation against you, because you will know that the judge will not be on your side. It really happens to various of my friends. And I could tell the story of each of them, but really, if you don't believe me, please just check some investigations. And I understand that many right wingers can tell me that, okay, we will not read something like Freedom House, etc., because it's like too leftist, etc. Okay, just check the Heritage Foundation. I hope that the Heritage Foundation doesn't produce any questions in any of right wingers. So just check what Heritage Foundation says about the economical freedom in Russia after almost 25 years of Putin ruling the country. Well, but maybe he's not so right winger in the economical things, but maybe he's at least the right winger in the moral. Well, as far as I know, because I'm classical liberal, but I cannot call myself so much conservative. But for all my conservative friends, the family is very important. So what about the Putin's family? Well, first of all, he is divorced, but it's not a big deal. I mean, well, it happens. We cannot just say that if you are divorced, you are a bad person. No, it's. But another thing that he lives with Alina Kabaeva, everyone knows it. He is not married, and he tries to hide it, like he never mentions her, etc. I mean, maybe it would be okay like for the average person, but not for the world leader of traditional values, it seems to me. Well, I don't know, but what I know that when some journalist asked him about his daughters, he started to refer his daughters as these women. So it's like he didn't want to say my daughters. I don't know what happens to him. Why he don't want to say that this is my wife, those are my daughters. Why it's just like this woman, these women, etc. It's like kind of weird, but I don't know if it is normal for the supporter of the traditional values. Not only supporter, but like the defender of the traditional values. By the way, when you listen to some speech of the Putin, like with sometimes with subtitles, translated by subtitles, I would recommend you to check it because sometimes really I saw a lot of, well, not a lot, but some videos when Putin says one thing, because I speak Russian, so I just understand what Putin is saying, and the translation is completely different. The translation is nothing about this. So I saw one video when Putin is talking about the Victory Day, the 9th May, and about the Soviet soldiers, etc., etc. And there is the translation, like Putin is telling to a lot of people about that the children in the Occidental society don't respect their parents, and that's bad because we are losing the link between generations. And I was just seeing it and thinking that it would be like too smart, it would be too deep for Putin. So let's say that he doesn't speak like a philosopher or the person with PhD at all. Uh, so it was like if you just see something that Putin is saying with the translation to English with subtitles, for example, what I was doing, for example, in one moment I needed to understand what were saying the some politicians from Iran. So what I was doing, I was just recorded their speech, only the audio. And then I used the voice recognition technology, and they translated it just by Google Translate to at least see if if this translation and the translation and subtitles is more or less the same. So I really recommend you to do it if you see something that you really like that Putin is saying. There is a lot of fake translation. He doesn't speak, as I said, he doesn't speak like a philosopher. But let's talk about, I think, the most important question, because I know many conservatives. I don't know any of them who doesn't care about abortion. I mean, some people say that the family is not so important. Some people are not against the gay marriage. Some people are not so in favor to, for example, the religious education, etc. But I don't know any conservative who doesn't care about abortion, who thinks that abortion should be completely legal, completely free, etc. So, what did Putin do during this almost 25 years, almost quarter of the century, while he's ruling Russia? When he came to the power, abortion were completely legal, without any borders, etc. I mean, I think that the only borders is that after several months, when you already have several months, you cannot make an abortion. The rest is completely okay. It's just the woman wants to make an abortion and it is enough. What did change during this quarter of the century? Nothing. Putin didn't do anything to at least put some limitations to the abortion. And look, just one disclaimer. I don't mean that I'm against the legal status of abortion. For me, it's an extremely difficult question. I don't have my own opinion here, and I think that there should be a big discussion, a big debates, maybe, and it's really like both sides have very good arguments, and I will not say that I am in one or in another position. There are some things where I don't have my position. Abortion is one of them. So please don't think that I, the vice president of coordinating council of Circassia, am against the abortion. I'm not saying it. But if you are saying all the time that you are conservative, that you support the traditional values, I think you should do something against the completely legal status of abortion. Also with his power. Like, we cannot say that it's just because the parliament would disagree. No, because with his power, with this dictatorship, and he controls everything, I think that he could do everything. Well, but let's go to the last topic. Why so many people think that Putin is actually conservative? Well, because he is anti-gay. So, let's talk about this. First, any dictatorship needs some enemies. Jewish people like in Third Reich, non-Shia or just non-Muslim people in Iran, capitalists in North Korea, etc. So you need to consolidate your society against something. And then you need to choose what it will be. To just put you a little bit in the context. In Russia, you have very homophobic society. I remember that when I was at the university, we had one guy from another city, and he was a gay. Actually, he didn't speak about this so much even in the university, but I was a friend of his friend, so I knew about this. And once he told me that he decided to tell it to his parents. And when he told that he's actually seen a guy, that he was dating with a guy, his father, the father of this guy, went away from the room and went back with the rifle and said to him, "You have 2 hours to just pack your things and go away, not only from here, not only from your house, but also from the city. If you get back to this city, I will kill you with this rifle." And it was his father, just because his son was a gay. So just imagine how homophobic is the society there. And I'm not saying that everywhere is like this. I mean, for example, Moscow is pretty European city in this question, like pretty free. But in many cities it is like this. So with this homophobic society, gay people normally are never making coming out. So you may have some friends, some colleagues who are gay, and you will never know about this because they will never say. Maybe only to their closest friends. So, with this homophobic society, people normally don't know that they have some friends who are gay or colleagues or even that their children might be gay. They just don't think about this. So they think that they have never seen a gay. But at the same time, they believe that being a gay is bad. So it's very useful, very convenient enemy. It's like fighting against aliens. No one have seen them, no one knows any of them, but you say that they are enemies. Convenient, sure. So I think that why Putin is so anti-gay, so anti-LGBT, it's not because of his values. It's just because of his, let's say, electoral strategy. I hope that today I explained pretty well why Putin is not a right winger. Let's talk if he's actually a left winger politician. We'll talk about this the next week. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, to share this video if you liked it. If you have Telegram, subscribe to our Telegram channel, and see you soon.